Welcome to Legends in the Making, the space where high performance meets soul alignment leadership. I'm Erin Sarles Bowers, strategist, shamanic mentor, and mother of two athletes. And this episode is personal because today we're talking about something no one prepared me for as a parent. What do you do when your child starts to fade? Not physically, but emotionally and spiritually. When the light dims, when the motivation drops, and you don't even know what to call what's happening, let alone how do you fix it? This episode is called You Can't Close a Gap You Haven't Named. And if you've been watching your athletes drift, this is where we can bring them back. So let me tell you what this looks like for me. There wasn't a moment of big blow up. It wasn't any major injury. It wasn't a phone call from the coach. Just one day I saw it. My child was still showing up, going to school, attending practice, eating dinner with the family, but the spark was gone from their eyes. The hunger, the joy, the drive, it was fading. And it started to really make me feel panicked and worried as a parent because I was wondering if it was something I was doing. I knew I was doing everything. I was showing up, driving them to practice, supporting them, providing, but I couldn't name what the slip was. And that's where I felt like I failed. And that's where I had my first moment of really starting to introspect and realize this isn't about effort. This wasn't about their talent as an athlete. It was about clarity of who they are as a human being. And we just didn't have that. It's so sad because we are living in a society today where distractions are everywhere. Their identity, what is right, all the things are under attack. So much pressure of seeing so many things and thinking, what am I chasing? What should I be idolizing? And not understanding who they truly are. I mean, we have social media. I mean, there's apps that I probably couldn't even name on here that our kids are on, sad to say, and ideas of perfection and what that looks like. You got YouTube, endless information coming at them. You have, sad to say, access to free pornography on the internet, video games that oftentimes have been created to be so real that they just draw your child in. Not maybe the generation of parents that I'm speaking to on here that probably had an Atari or maybe a Nintendo and you were playing Mario Kart or Super Mario Brothers or Duck Hunt or, whatever else, drawing them into a world and not creating reality. They're being influenced by things that are not teaching them truly who they are at the core of their souls. And we live in a society where so much of what happens is about keeping up with what we think is true. We've created a hustle culture and chasing money to define worth. I mean, there's so many things I could sit here and go on and on and on that I think our kids are being inundated with that are just not the truth of who they are. And I have been a coach and shamanic mentor, and I just couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. I couldn't sit here and watch my kids and think, yes, they will get through this, but as a parent, how do I guide them through this? And how do I help create systems, pardon me, processes and disciplines that help them really return to who they are? And I see my kids as, inconsistent, disengaged, not only sometimes in sports when they're showing up to practice, but in schools, in their schoolwork. They don't find it engaging at all. Everything is so electronic and online that they're not having to interact or think or engage. And we're not teaching our children the basic skills of relationship that is the foundation of who we are as a human species, that we have to interrelate. They're most of the time they are behind a screen and they don't know how to have conversations or interact. And that's something that I find deeply troubling and worrying, and something that we have to break as a society. So this isn't a motivation. I think it's a clarity problem that we have. Our child or children aren't broken. They're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with the amount of information. And if we don't start acknowledging it and start standing up for how we can create a better world for these young children, we are going to have major societal problems. And this is about coming together and standing up for what is right so that we can ultimately help prepare this next generation to be greater leaders than our generation is. But we have to be willing to look at all of these issues, be willing to acknowledge all of these and understand the impact, and then come together as a community of parents to change the trajectory of how things are going. And so we haven't failed, but the system has failed. And now we need to build something better. And that, again, is why I was called to create Blueprint to Bluechip. So let me be very clear. We don't teach just discipline to a child who doesn't know who they are. You cannot be disciplined if at the core essence you don't know who you are. You can't expect consistent habits from somebody battling internal confusion. We have to constantly be returning to remembering who we are, because building just external habits also isn't creating a lasting foundation. And to understand that performance doesn't come from pressure. Most of the performance, pressure comes from a lack of presence, from a lack of identity, not understanding who they are. When your child knows who they are, when they have a sense of direction, of mission, of worthiness, they move differently. They love themselves. They are committed to themselves because they know who they are. They then understand how they need to respect and take care of their body in order to recover faster as an athlete, put proper nutrition in to ensure that they're properly fueling their body for performance, doing the workouts necessary to elicit the performance that they want to get. And when you build the internal character and the internal workings of helping them really understand who they are, they then can act from integrity and lead from presence. So success isn't about more reps. When I look at athletic programs that are out there to help kids, okay, it's great to get faster, but why are you getting faster? What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of who you are and what God put you on this planet to do? And athletics is a great expression to be an incredible leader. And so it's more than just how fast can I run, how high can I jump. It's about developing the holistic individual that can show up for themselves and for those around them, their teammates, their coaches, and you as their parents, to deliver their absolute best. So this is more than just how fast are you and all these stats that you are. This is about helping them step into who they're meant to be, to have the impact in the world that they were put here to have. And so this is really about helping them remember who they are before the world told them what they are supposed to become, or the societal norms that exist that they think that they should be striving for, that may be false idolatry, that they really need to look within to understand who they are and the impact that they want to have in the world. And so one of the tools I created was called the Clarity Compass. And this is the exact tool that we start with every family inside Blueprint to Bluechip. It's very simple, but very powerful. And the compass helps you and your athlete to pinpoint what's working and not working, identify distractions and misalignments, open up honest and judge-free conversations, and shift from confusion to direction really fast. And the other thing that differentiates Bluechip from anybody else out there is this is about bringing in the entire family, you as parents that are supporting the athlete, and how can you grow and develop in your parenting skills and how you interrelate with them to be the best support system for them, knowing that they're the driver of the bus. But the beauty is it's not just about the athlete, it's about the entire ecosystem around the athlete to support them in their long-term growth and development. So we cannot close the gap that we cannot name. And this tool helps, the Clarity Compass, bring that all together. And what we find, we can finally fix. If you can identify it, you can fix it. What we fix, we can finally transform. So what a beautiful way to help your athlete elevate is to really identify the root cause within themselves that's holding them back from stepping in to who they are truly meant to be. And how do you elevate yourself as a parent to become the leader of them that you want to become? If you've been listening with a lump in your throat or a knot in your stomach, if something I said landed like a mirror, not a microphone, I want to invite you to take the next step. DM me the word clarity on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, anywhere you're seeing this, DM me the word clarity, and I'll send you the Clarity Compass that we give to every Blueprint family. This isn't about adding another program to your child's plate. It's about reclaiming their identity and yours as a parent. Because this isn't about raising athletes. It's about raising leaders with discipline, vision, and purpose. This is where leaders are made, not in pressure, in presence. Let's walk this path together.